Imagine a flower, fragile, delicate, gone within weeks. Now, imagine that same flower being worth more than a mansion. Imagine ordinary people selling everything they own just for the chance to buy a bulb. This isn't fiction. In the 1,630 seconds, tulips, yes, tulips became the center of one of the strangest economic manias in history. A single bulb once sold for more than the yearly salary of a skilled craftsman, more than a canal-side townhouse in Amsterdam, more than almost anything you could imagine. But here's the mystery. Why? How could a simple flower planted in dirt, exposed to the same rain and wind as weeds, become a ticket to untold riches? And just as importantly, why did it all come crashing down, leaving lives ruined and reputations destroyed? Today, we're uncovering the full story of Tulip Mania, the origins, the rise, the devastating collapse, and why its lessons still haunt us every time markets run hot with speculation. And trust me, you'll start to see tulips not as flowers, but as warnings. To understand Tulip Mania, we need to step back into the Dutch Golden Age of the early 1600s. The Netherlands wasn't just another European country, it was the financial hub of the world. Amsterdam's canals were bustling with merchants trading silk, spices, sugar, and silver from every corner of the globe. Dutch ships dominated the seas. And the Dutch East India Company, one of the first publicly traded corporations, was pioneering stock trading and shareholder capitalism. This was a society swimming in money. Skilled craftsmen, merchants, and even middle-class families had disposable income, and with prosperity came something else: the desire for luxury, novelty, and status symbols. Tulips weren't native to the Netherlands. They originated in the Ottoman Empire, where they were prized for their vibrant colors and unusual patterns. When tulips first arrived in Europe in the late 1500s, they were exotic and rare. And in an age where social class was expressed through display, tulips quickly became fashionable. But these weren't just any tulips. Some were infected by a virus, a mosaic virus that caused flames of different colors to streak across the petals. To wealthy collectors, these patterns were mesmerizing. A plain red or yellow tulip was nice, but a tulip streaked with white, purple, or marbled patterns? That was priceless. By the 1,620 seconds, tulips weren't just flowers anymore. They were status symbols. Demand increased. People began to view tulip bulbs as potential investments. Owning rare varieties like the legendary Semper Augustus was a way to prove wealth and sophistication. But here's where things take a strange turn. Tulips weren't just admired in gardens. They became tradable assets. You see, tulips take years to grow from seeds, and bulbs bloom only once a year. That meant supply was extremely limited. Combine that scarcity with growing demand, and you have the perfect conditions for rising prices. And soon, a speculative market was born. At first, it was wealthy merchants and aristocrats buying bulbs as luxuries. But then, something new happened. Ordinary people began to see tulips not as flowers, but as investments. A weaver, a carpenter, a farmer. They might never afford the most exotic tulips outright, but they could buy shares in a bulb, contracts that promised ownership once the bulb was dug up at the end of the season. Think about that for a second. People weren't buying flowers. They were buying futures contracts on flowers. It was as if the entire economy turned into a giant betting table, and the odds looked incredible because prices kept climbing. By the early 1,630 seconds, Tulip Mania was in full swing. Prices soared to astronomical levels. Let me give you an example. A skilled craftsman in Amsterdam might earn about 300 guilders a year, but in 1636, a single rare tulip bulb like the Semper Augustus was selling for 5,500 guilders. That's the equivalent of nearly 20 years of income for one flower bulb. Another bulb reportedly sold for 10,000 guilders, more than enough to buy a luxurious canal-side house in Amsterdam. The prices of these select tulip bulbs reached extraordinarily high levels. This phenomenon is often referred to as Tulip Mania. The high prices marked a period of intense speculation in the tulip market. The tulip market bubble eventually burst, leading to financial crisis. During Tulip Mania, ordinary citizens actively participated in the tulip bulb market. Merchants and artisans allocated their savings to purchase tulip bulbs. This widespread investment reflected the speculative nature of the market. The phenomenon involved a broad spectrum of society, not just the wealthy elite. Tulip bulbs were sometimes used as dowries. This indicates the high perceived value of tulip bulbs. The bulbs were considered valuable assets. They could be used as collateral for loans. This practice reflects the speculative market surrounding tulips. During Tulip Mania, the prices of certain tulip bulbs rose to extreme levels. These prices were not based on the intrinsic value of the tulips. Instead, speculation drove the market, creating a bubble. Some tulip bulbs were valued higher than houses or estates. This level of price exaggeration was unsustainable. The market eventually crashed, leading to financial ruin for many. Historical paintings depict individuals displaying tulip bulbs. These displays were intended to showcase the owner's wealth. Tulip bulbs were once a symbol of financial success. Owning rare bulbs indicated high social status. The act of flaunting bulbs was a public declaration of prosperity. Initial anxieties emerge regarding the long-term viability of tulip bulb valuations. These concerns signal a potential shift in market sentiment. Investors begin to question the underlying value supporting inflated prices. Such doubts often precede a period of market correction. This instability can trigger broader economic repercussions if left unaddressed. Some traders begin selling their tulip bulbs. This action indicates an early concern about potential market instability. The traders are likely anticipating a market correction. Selling aims to mitigate potential losses from a price decline. The speculative bubble surrounding tulip bulbs begins to deflate. Prices for tulip bulbs, once astronomically high, start to decline. This sudden drop triggers widespread panic among investors. Many investors had heavily leveraged their assets to purchase tulip bulbs. As prices fall, these investors face potential financial ruin. The collapse marks the beginning of the end for Tulip Mania. The tulip bulb market experienced a sudden and dramatic collapse. This collapse was characterized by a rapid and significant drop in tulip bulb prices. The plummeting prices signified a major financial crisis. The crash marked the end of a period of speculative investment in tulip bulbs. Many investors faced financial ruin as a result of the market's failure. The event serves as a historical example of the dangers of speculative bubbles. Investment failures can lead to severe financial ruin for investors. Bankruptcy is a legal process declaring an inability to pay debts. Facing bankruptcy often results in the loss of assets and financial stability. Destitution represents a state of extreme poverty and lack of resources. Financial ruin can have devastating effects on individuals and families. Economic downturns and poor investment choices can contribute to widespread bankruptcies. The Dutch economy underwent a recession. This recession was triggered by the collapse of the tulip market. The tulip market crash is also known as Tulip Mania. Tulip Mania was a period of speculative bubble in the Dutch Golden Age. During Tulip Mania, contract prices for bulbs of the recently introduced tulip reached extraordinarily high levels. When the bubble burst, many investors were financially ruined, leading to broader economic consequences. The scene depicts a historical setting where the government attempts to intervene in a crisis. Despite the government's efforts, the intervention proves to be largely ineffective. This suggests a disconnect between the intended actions and the actual outcomes. The failure of intervention may highlight limitations in governmental power or understanding. During Tulip Mania, tulip bulb contracts became a common financial instrument. The rapid inflation and subsequent deflation of tulip bulb prices led to widespread defaults on these contracts. Many buyers found themselves unable to pay the agreed-upon prices when the market crashed. Sellers faced losses as the value of their bulbs plummeted, making contracts unenforceable. These defaults resulted in a surge of legal disputes as parties sought to recover their investments or avoid losses. The legal battles further contributed to the economic chaos and uncertainty of the period. The Tulip Mania crash had a profound social impact. It led to a significant erosion of trust within the community. The financial devastation caused widespread disillusionment. Many individuals experienced a loss of faith in economic systems. The crash altered social dynamics and perceptions of wealth. The Tulip Mania is a historical event that provides valuable lessons about market behavior. It serves as a cautionary tale regarding speculative bubbles. The Tulip Mania also highlights the dangers of irrational exuberance in financial markets. The rapid price increases of tulip bulbs were not based on intrinsic value. The market eventually crashed, leading to significant financial losses for many investors. Understanding the Tulip Mania can help prevent similar speculative bubbles in the future. Economists study Tulip Mania as a classic example of a market bubble. Tulip Mania provides insights into irrational exuberance and speculative trading. analysis focuses on the rapid price inflation of tulip bulbs during the period. Economists also examine the subsequent market crash and its economic consequences. The study of tulip mania helps understand the formation and bursting of asset bubbles. Tulip mania is often compared to other speculative bubbles in history. These comparisons highlight similarities in market behavior and investor psychology. One notable parallel is drawn with the dot-com bubble of the late 1990s. Both involved rapid increases in asset values driven by speculation. Ultimately, both bubbles burst, leading to significant financial losses. Analyzing these parallels provides insights into the nature of speculative markets. Tulip mania is remembered as a prime example of market speculation. It serves as a historical case study of an asset bubble. The tulip bubble illustrates the rapid inflation of asset prices beyond intrinsic value. The subsequent crash highlights the risks of irrational investment decisions. Tulip mania is an enduring symbol of financial market instability.